go to you, I'm going to add that as I ask you this question, I want to add another question to it because I saw this in the news last week. Juan Gonzalez, who's a senior director on the National Security Council, was disposed to Haiti to personally go to Haiti and apologize personally for what happened at the border. Your reaction to that? Does that mean anything to you? And number two question is, Haiti is portrayed as a fragile state. Why is that? But I want you to lead off with Juan Gonzalez, Senior Director of the National Security Council, who was sent to Haiti last week to apologize.
So I would say that apology, yes, symbolically, morally is important, but apology is not enough, because when it's not the first time that we have high profile, US citizen, US politician, elected official going to Haiti or apologizing for what they have been doing to Haiti. So we can go on the internet and Google and we will see that in the 1990s, when, for instance, the US used the CIA to overthrow Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who was in the context of political transition to democracy, was the first president, democratically elected on December 16, 1990. But 7 months after, he was, overthrown by the US, and he came here in the US as, doing lobby to return to the presidency. But the US, coerced Jean-Bertrand Aristide to sign the Paris Agreement, to open Haiti, to apply to Haiti neoliberal policies, austerity. And the then president of the US, William Jefferson, aka Bill Clinton, he, was very instrumental in undermining the rice production in Haiti. So, and after that, 7 or 8 months, 8 years after, he apologized. Also the United Nations apologized for what they did to Haiti by bringing cholera in Haiti. But when you apologize and there is no kind of reparation, economic reparation, and you continue constantly applying the same policy, I am asking, what is the function of the apology? Because, it's apology. Every decade you do things negative and you continue to present apology, that you are sorry. But sorry won't fix the problem. What will fix the problem is a, dramatic change of your noxious policies toward Haiti. And as Esquire Patterson said, and it's a policy that is shaped by racialized capitalism, is shaped by racism. It's because Haiti is the first Black country who changed the dynamic of the world system. So this is the way I understand that. Now, to answer your question on Haiti is a fragile state, I would say that Haiti is not really a fragile state. I would prefer to portray Haiti as a state that has been fragilized. And Haiti has been fragilized, but is not a fragile state per se. Because as I explained in 2 articles I published, one was in the Georgetown Journal of International Affairs. So I explained that a state is a fiction, a state is an illusion. The state per se doesn't exist. A state exists through the materialization of its institution. But we have, for many years, for many decades, and I can say century, you have external forces, what I would call the transnational forces, challenging the authority of elected officials in Haiti. And I can go, for instance, since the 19th century, the beginning of the 19th century, when the 9th Congress of the US on February 1806, the first country that imposed economic embargo to Haiti was the 9th Congress of the United States of America. And back at that time, it was not about the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party actually was the Democratic Republican Party. They were one party and there were other parties. So it was the Democrat that imposed in 1806. But let's skip that. And even let's skip the first occupation of US occupation between 1915 and 1934. Let's go straight to the political transition in Haiti and to see with fact how Haiti has been constantly in a process of fragilization. That fragilization has been possible because a political alliance, as I explained in my research, a political alliance between the most repugnant Haitian elites in Haiti, so local actors, but in alliance, in partnership with transnational actors. For instance, in 1991, September 1991, a process of fragilization. We were in a context of we were talking about strengthening democracy, the promotion of democracy, strengthening civil society. So the language was about democracy, democratization, consolidation of democracy, and so forth. But you have a country experiencing a very interesting process of democracy, and because the leader, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, and for the public, I am not 100% Aristide. Actually, I wrote a book in which I am the first scholar who wrote a book in which I address academically the phenomenon of the chimere, because I think that it was not good for Haiti. But Aristide in 1991, because he was a priest with the influence of liberation theology, he was anti-neoliberal policies. So they use the hierarchy of the army. An army, actually, Raoul said that it's the same army that, was built during the first US occupation of Haiti. So a US trained army, they use that army, the CIA, they overthrown Aristide. Then you have Aristide coming back in power in 2001 again. And in 2000, he had a mandate for 5 years. In 2004, they overthrew Aristide once again, because in 2003, Aristide claimed to friends, to the government of Jacques Chirac, you have to pay Haiti the 150,000 francs that you force us to pay you for the recognition of our independence between 1824 and 1947. Then you have a third moment. You have the 2010 earthquake, Haiti, a process of fragilization. You have Barack Obama, first Black president, but never traveled to Haiti. So he made a deal with the Clinton clan and sent Bill Clinton as, special envoy. But at that time, Hillary Rodham Clinton was the US Secretary of State. So, and there is widely documented. So if one watch, for instance, assistance fatal assistant of Raoul Peck, so Hillary Rodham Clinton went to Haiti and put pressure on René Préval to change the result of the election. You have constantly the US meddling into Haitian politics. So we cannot say Haiti now. If we say Haiti is a failed state, Haiti is a fragile state, we have to ask what have been the condition upon which, what have been the main factor at play to explain the process of fragilization of Haiti, because Haitian people never got a chance to figure out their own solution, to elect their own politician, Even though I recognize also there is a failure of the political class in Haiti, but we cannot just pay attention to what is happening in Haiti, the internal factor, without seeing the state as an imbrication of social relation, different kind of social relation, but it's relation, you know, between local actor and external actor. So, and I think the US has more a moral responsibility in what is happening in Haiti. Now, finally, you when to talk about a state, if we go back to the work of Thomas Hobbes would tell you a state should be a Leviathan. We citizens, we made a pact of suggestion. We gave part of our freedom to the state, and we asked the Leviathan to give us security. But once again, so the US advised Aristide to take down the army. So I know for a professor Brian will have another conversation with me, but I still believe that Haiti needs an army, but this is not the topic for today. So you have the US helping to the creation of the National Police of Haiti, Police Nationale d'Haïti. So the PNH, the National Police of Haiti, was trained by ICITAP with resources coming from the Department of Justice. So if now you have that police is totally gangsterized, is totally politicized, so the US also, because it is your institution, it is the ICITAP, you know, the Department of Justice, who invested money and training those, police. They came to Missouri, they received training, you know, and then Haiti had Minia, you have Minister, you have Mini-Jus, you have Bini. So the international community has been always in Haiti, because when Minister went to Haiti in 2004, they left Haiti in 17 years, and they left Haiti in 2017. So the mission was stabilize Haiti, but Minister left Haiti worse than Haiti was in 2004. So in closing, we cannot think Haiti as a fragile state. I would prefer to say this is a state that has been fragilized, but with the complicity and the great involvement of the international community under the hegemony and protagonism of the United States of America.